Now, if you read the news, you would know that the UK Parliament has become the first parliament in the world to declare an environmental emergency, a climate emergency. So, just because the UK Parliament has done that, must the Indian Parliament too declare an environmental emergency? Well, it is possible to become wealthy and live unhealthy in a junkyard, as we've seen from China. Do we need to protect India from becoming a junkyard economy? So, this is what we're going to talk about. What is a junkyard economy? A junkyard economy is that in which you have older generation products and processes that consume far more energy and resources than their counterparts in advanced countries. A junkyard economy produces more waste because it is inefficient. It is still using very old technologies and methods. And a junkyard economy has little local environment adaptation, which means that whatever it produces actually does not match the local environment and therefore it is a pollutant. And a junkyard economy, lastly, has very little environmental innovation, both in terms of patents and mass adoption. Therefore, because of all these reasons, India stands to lose a lot. Now, you may ask the question, how? Because we are still using older generation products and processes which consume far more energy and resources, produce a lot of waste, show little environment care within India or globally, and don't have the innovation that the world needs right now. Because of all these opportunities, India is massively importing everything that we need from outside, and yet in a junkyard economy status. We are not able to export our good things to the outside world because we are incompetitive, because we are inefficient in terms of energy and resource consumption, in terms of the waste we produce. So that is one reason why we are saying the Indian Parliament must declare an environmental emergency too, just like the UK. Now, this is an estimate of deaths by leading causes. And if you can very clearly see, the deaths due to pollution are now estimated to be 10 million as compared to all other types of causes. For example, tobacco smoking is lower. AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis kill far less people than pollution is already killing. Deaths due to alcohol or malnutrition or road accidents or due to drug use, and deaths due to war, murder, and personal enmity, all that we read so much about in newspapers, are far, far lower than deaths due to pollution. So, does this tell us that there is a far bigger factor which is killing people very silently, and a lot of them are very productive, very critical resources. In fact, each life is very precious as families cut down their sizes to 1 or 2 kids. So, to protect those, we believe that the Indian Parliament must declare an environmental emergency too. Now, if you like to, you can Google Punjab Cancer Train Bathinda and see for yourself. There is even a dedicated train already which takes cancer patients. I mean, it's unfortunate, but this is what it has come down to in the food bowl of this country. And there are other food bowl regions I'll show you of this country where there are similar phenomena already taking place. So we believe that the Indian Parliament must declare an environmental emergency because cancer, for example, has become a very highly prevalent disease. Now, look at this. As I said, there is cancer in Erode, Tamil Nadu, there is cancer in Kerala rising, and there are other states which are, it is surprising. We don't have all this information in one glance, and we think, why should I care? I don't live in Punjab, I don't live in Kerala, I don't live in Tamil Nadu. But look around and you'll find that cancer as a disease is spreading because of pollutants. And the number one reason for cancer is actually environment. And then there are some other habits that people have. But at least the environment is one thing we all share. and we need to take care of. So we believe this is one more reason why the Indian Parliament must declare an environmental emergency before, you know, these small families with one or two kids, God forbid somebody should fall to cancer or something like that. We need to protect our little families because we just don't have the bandwidth to lose people to cancer. Each person, each life is very precious. And look at this aspect. I mean, I found it very interesting in my research. Uh, Climate change impacts women more than men. I mean, if you just look at this, women are not able to enjoy the fruits of progress of humankind because more women are falling to, for example, breast cancer. I've just shown one slide here on breast cancer, but there are so many other types of cancer which are actually driven because of environmental changes and because of pollutants in food or in milk and this and that. So do you want 50% of the race who's actually supposed to bring forward new life to be afflicted with all kinds of diseases? I mean, is this the kind of society you want to build up? Can't we protect our women, our little girls, the ladies? So this is one more reason we believe that the Indian Parliament must declare an environmental emergency immediately. And I mean, I could go on, but I just want to kind of summarize. Look at the severe weather, the extreme weather that is happening now all across India. I mean, this is happening across the world, and that is why the UK has done this. They have acknowledged that they're in fact calling it a weather emergency, a climate emergency. I'm sorry, but weather affects farmers, it affects foods. You can look up all these references that I've shown you here, and there are so many more references you'll find. It's critical. We are not going to be able to produce food for our people in this country if we get so much extreme weather. And if people like 8 lakh people have to be evacuated with one storm, I mean, this is just one storm, and there are storms which happen one after the other every year. So if we need to take care of this country, we have to do something about the environment, and that's why we believe the time right now is ripe for the Indian Parliament to declare an environmental emergency too, like the UK. Now, what are the benefits? I mean, if we do this, what do we get out of this? I mean, is it just something we should do because the UK is doing? No, because if we do this, we will hopefully become very globally competitive in terms of our products, because you're producing better products, new generation products at a lower cost with little waste and better waste management and recycling and so on and so forth. So you become a better producer, and therefore there is an opportunity to lead the world to the new world 2.0. There's trillions of dollars of good work to be done all around the world, because if we become leaders in this, we can lead the world in this, then there's so many countries that will need these services, and we can provide these services to those countries. It is critical. There are opportunities for organic food exports. India is a farmer's country. We can produce so much good food for the rest of the world, and then there'll be local jobs and employment. We will get the innovation and the patent ownership that we need, which ensures lower cost of ownership, and therefore that directly impacts poverty alleviation. And then obviously there is better health and environmental care. So we are a country, India is a country where there are so many faiths and religions that believe in gods and goddesses, in nature. We worship those. I mean, so many of I'm not even talking about myself, but I'm talking about the country at large. The people here worship this nature. Shouldn't we be the first ones in the world? I mean, if we are not for the first ones, that's okay. But shouldn't we be at least the second ones in the world to declare environment as the core of our, country's agenda, growth agenda, sustainable economic development growth? I think it is high time that, therefore, India must declare an environmental emergency and take all the steps necessary to reorient this economy, to reorient the growth of this country, so that we can all have a very happy future, and we can lead the world to a better world 2.0, Because India, remember, is a huge country. We are at least 20-25% of the world's population. If we can do this, we can show this to the world. The world will also get an example to follow. So I rest the case here, and I hope that you will support this cause and send your vote. Thank you.